Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Mel Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for the Real Housewives of Potomac, and this is season 9, episode 12. Is called Shake the Devil Off. And before we get started, yes, I know I am late for this review, to the point where you're going to have another review for the episode that's coming up, I think today. There might be, I'm not sure if there's another episode. I feel like there would be because this is not on a holiday, but I don't remember. I know that we're not getting Beverly Hills or Salt Lake City until 2025 because of it being on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I'm not sure what they're doing with Potomac. I'm assuming we're going to be getting an episode today, but hey, either way, I'm back on schedule. So, just real quick, brief thing. I was out of town. I went and saw my family for the holidays. And so, sorry guys, but not sorry. I was not going to be getting on this screen doing a review. I guess I could have technically did another review where I wasn't filming my face. But I know y'all miss this phase, don't y'all? I miss filming. But that does require a lot more work when I actually film versus when I'm just like recording my voice and just saying what happened. So anyway, before we get into the review, another thing. Now, especially if you're watching this show, I'm assuming you're paying attention to what's happening with the news. Now, and based off of that, my reviews unfortunately might be slightly skewed because Karen, girl, that's all I'm going to say. Long story less long, we won't go into the nooks and crannies of why I'm saying that about Karen, but if you've been following the news and the updates and what surfaced, you know why I'm saying that. And the reason why I don't really want to mention too much about it, because typically this is a channel where I don't go outside of what they do on the show, number one. Number two, I'm not sure if this is going to be discussed during the reunion or not. And if it is, I don't really want to address it prior to that. I kind of think it won't be just because it's Karen, but that's the other reason. Or it might get a whole season of them addressing it. Who knows? But child, she might not even be on next season. Let's just call a thing based upon what we might, additional things we might find out. So there you go. There's a little bit more of a hint of why I'm saying what I'm saying when I'm like Karen girl. Anyway, other news. Mia and Giselle. If y'all saw my thumbnail for this video, y'all understand why. Because the line continues to move. And it's gonna come up in this episode. We're gonna talk more about that when we get to that part of the episode. Without further ado, let's get into this episode. Overall, it really was a great episode. Finally, we had an episode where some things happened. It was not like a filler episode, but it's because they're on a cast trip. And I'm going to say this, Miss Dr. Wendy Acefo. Dr. Wendy Acefo. When it comes to this cast trip so far, you did that. It's giving budget. Like they have the budget. I still partially wish they were on another hemisphere outside the Americas. But where they're staying at is giving the coins. It being a different country that none of the housewives have been to as of yet, it's giving budget. Wendy having the criteria, like I have an itinerary. I love it. The other thing that I will say too, we're seeing some of the culture of where they're staying at. That's the other thing I like. And lastly, I'm not, it's not me liking it versus not liking it, but I am wondering. I'm just wondering because we saw in Salt Lake City this was a thing. At least when it came to the Palm Springs trip this year. Are some of the housewives for them to get the trip that they want outside of Beverly Hills, and even Beverly Hills, I believe it too, but in order for, and this is just a question, so for those who've been watching the Housewives longer than me, because I only started watching the Housewives during the pandemic, so maybe one of y'all can like clear this up and answer this for me, is the reason why we're getting the trips the way we're getting the trips now, at least when it comes to the Potomac versus what Wendy did, is it based off a budget? Like, are the housewives coming out of pocket for these trips now? I'm just wondering. So let me know in the comments if you have any idea if that's what it is. Because if that's what it is, because of the decline of TV and all that, and also the couple of things that Bravo lost money in, for example, the Ultimate Girls Trip, Morocco filming and all that, that was a huge loss, like financial loss for Bravo. So I'm pretty sure costs may have been allocated to fix that, because I know they were betting on getting getting a return for that, and then also Dubai being a flop, and really New York, the reboot in New York's kind of being a flop. I'm wondering, is this how they're doing the cast trips moving forward now? The ladies are using some of their resources / budget for the trips, because it seems like that is a theme that I'm seeing across the board. Really minus, I'm trying to think. So the only Housewives show that I think that was more of a cast trip that wasn't necessarily them coming out of pocket was OC and them going to London. Everything else, I feel like the lady that's hosting it has come out of pocket. Anyway, y'all let me know. I know I kind of spent a lot more time on this, but let's get into the episode. So we saw that this is a continuation of what happened at, because remember, this was to be continued. So Jacqueline crashed Karen's Level Lagoon party and brought 8 balloons for her 8 citations. And as you know, basically, Jacqueline's doing the most. The only one who's laughing is Mia. So you know Mia knew about this. If anything, Mia probably put the girl up to this. It was team too much. And of course, Karen reacted as she should and kicked her out. And everyone's just kind of confused. And honestly, I don't know what Jacqueline thought she was going to do here, but it just did not make her look good. It just was like ill. And so she got kicked out, and Ray ended up escorting her out. And even Karen's like, don't touch her, escorting her out. Just get her out of here. And so Jacqueline and Mia are talking like right outside of her house, like off her property though. And Mia is continuing to shade Karen and basically saying, I just really wish Karen would own up to her things. And I will say this, Mia, I do agree with you on this, but you're just the wrong messenger. Period. You're the wrong messenger. And the way you're going about it is horrible. Especially if, based upon the situation that she needs to own, she could actually legitimately have a problem with substance. You know, Karen. And if she really does have a problem with substance, the way you're doing it is not the way to do it. It's actually quite disgusting, because you're not doing it out of love or out of care. You're doing it out of exploiting her, just like how you're exploiting your children on this show. I'm just going to call a thing. Anyway, so Jacqueline and her tire behind leaves. And so Mia tries to come back. Well, as this is happening, then Ray is like flirting with the mermaids. And then Karen, and then Mia's trying to talk to Karen. And Karen's like, I don't want to hear anything from you. You're full of ish, which she is. But, I mean, knowing what we know now about Karen and what happened, Same could possibly be said about you. Especially what Karen said in her confessional about, how we don't know. Mia be lying all the time. We don't know what the truth is and what the lie is. Unfortunately, because what we now know, what has surfaced, Karen, girl, the same could be said about you. The difference is Karen is likable and Karen does not come off as trashy. That is kind of the huge difference there. So, anyway. H2O, guys. H2O. Anyway, so then Mia. I was gonna say Giselle. So then, oh no, now I remember. Stacy's asking Mia like, why did she come here? Who invited her? Did you know? She basically asked Mia, did you know she was coming? And Mia lies and says, no, I didn't. I figured I had an idea, but I wasn't sure. She put her up to it. And we all know that. Let's just call a thing a thing. And she's like, why did she bring the 8 balloons thinking that was cute for the 8 citations? And Giselle, the thing is, this is what gets me and what cracked me up about this a little bit. And I don't know if this is true or not, but the way they did this was funny to me. Giselle, at the beginning, when she got the balloons, she thought, oh, she's trying to olive branch. But she missed the part that the 8 balloons stood for the 8 citations. Until Stacey says something. She's like, oh, that's wrong. You wrong for that. You are wrong for that. And Jacqueline she came to this lady's house uninvited and did that. I mean, absolutely not. Anyway. So then after that, they basically had lunch. Karen presents a toast to everyone. And then Mia starts doing the most on camera and starts twerking in the pool. She basically strips in her regular clothes and onto the pool. And it was just given thirsty. Like, it wasn't it. Anyway, let's move on. So next we had a couple of Housewives montages of the ladies getting ready. We see that Ashley is talking to her assistant Corey about one of her swimsuits that she has had in her closet that she hasn't worn yet. She's like, I'm finally gonna put that thing on. So she has that ready to go. And then Wendy is talking to her family, particularly her daughter Cam, about taking care of the rest of the family as they go to Panama. And then that's pretty much what happens here. And side note, producers, why are you forcing these solo Mia scenes down our throat? I'm just asking because this next little bit here, this could have been part of the montage that they could have kept it pushing. Because all we see here is Mia getting ready with her daughter. And I just side-eye any scene with Mia with her kids because it comes off very performative. I don't believe Mia is like that with her kids in real life. I don't at all. It's very performative. And she's getting ready for the trip, but they made it where this was a solo scene and it did not need to be. So that's all I'm going to say with that because, we already know Mia's a walking read. So let's continue on. So then the ladies are meeting up at the airport. We have Ashley getting dropped off by Josh. And according to Ashley, she really likes this guy. We'll get more into that as we move on with that. And then one by one, the ladies are getting to the airport. And Jacqueline is invited on this trip. So she's going to be on this trip. My question is, why isn't Jazzy on this trip? Side note, where has Jazzy been this episode? She was in the episode a little bit at the beginning when she was shading Jacqueline and how she was acting towards Karen being uninvited and being thirsty. But I'm kind of irritated because Jazzy does not appear to be thirsty as a friend of, but yet I'm intrigued enough where I would like to see her. And she's actually comes off more truthful A little delusional, but like that's part of a housewife. You need to be slightly delulu. I guess I'm just kind of disappointed that we're not seeing more of Jazzy. I want to learn more about Jazzy. Let me know in the comments if y'all agreed, but that's kind of my view on it. And y'all just could have left Jacqueline at home. I get why they have her on the trip because she's kind of the center of the drama right now, or one of the centerpieces of the drama, or she's trying to be anyway. So there's that. So basically, Karen and Giselle, they're talking amongst themselves when they get to the airport about how they just are just over Mia and Jacqueline, both of them. So they're just like, yeah, we're going to give them an OG education. So this is a team up that I'm not sure if I want it or need it. I don't know if I like it. It's giving Karen is in her full-time. It's given she's going to be in her villain era soon, which I don't know. How do y'all feel about this? A role reversal where Giselle tries to switch up and be a little bit more like Karen, and Karen tries to be a little bit more like Giselle. How y'all feel about that? Especially now that we don't have Rob on the show, and we also don't have Candace on the show. Now, y'all know I'm a Candace fan, so I wish she was on the show. But to a certain degree, I feel like a lot of things we're not going to move forward with her being on the show. Say, especially Rob. If Rob was still on the show, things would not be moving on. So I'm kind of glad she's off that show. Like, she had to go. But anyway, but how y'all feel about that? Because it seems like, I don't know. I feel like we're getting a little bit of a preview of that changing or that happening. And honestly, the way Karen handled things overall this season, I think it could work. And minus Giselle's misstep this episode, it could possibly work. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to a lot of the audience, myself slightly included, because I don't want to get too angry when I watch these shows, I start every season for the most part with a clean slate. I still remember what you did. It's still in the back of my mind. But because it's a show and it's not necessarily real life, I treat it like, okay, this is a new season. If Giselle was how she is on this show in real life, oh, no. I would understand why you would never fool with her. But you have to, like, at least for me, when I watch these shows, I give myself a suspense of disbelief a little bit on the way they handle conflict resolution. Because you can't handle it how you would handle it in real life, because it would not make for a good show. Anyway, so let's move on. So the ladies they get on the flight and they're on their way off to Panama. Okay, the ladies have arrived at Panama, and they are on their shuttle van on the way to Panama, on the way to the resort. And Wendy's kind of giving them kind of like what's going to be happening for the remainder of the day. And they find out on the ride to the resort that is going to be a 2+ hour ride. And the ladies are, wait, huh? But the thing is, before she gave that news, she did explain, hey, we're going to be in some villas. We each are going to have our own room. And the ladies were happy about that. Like, oh, we're going to be treated like the other housewives for once. That has a budget. I'm like, yeah. I ain't gonna hold you. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, yay, you're actually finally getting treated like you guys have a budget. Cool. You guys have your own rooms. Awesome. So they're basically doing that. And that's when the bomb is dropped. Like, oh, 2 hours. So then we're going to be getting a lot of conversation on the way to the villa. And one of the things that comes up is Stacey is kind of questioning Ashley on like, why'd you say TJ's giving you some suspicious vibes? And Stacey, girl, I hate to say this, but Ashley's right. If all the ladies are kind of saying the same thing, maybe you're the one who's wrong. I'm just saying. And then Stacey now is kind of flip-flopping. And I will say this, Karen earlier on in one of the interviews she had about this season, she did say that Stacey has a tendency flip-flop. And child, we've seen it more than once on this show, but that also makes a great housewife when you do that, especially the type of personality she has actually works for her. But she's flip-flopping saying, well, I don't want a serious romantic relationship with TJ. I'm like, perfect, because TJ don't want it either. And Karen calls it out. She's like, but Stacey, when you first told us about TJ, you presented the situation differently than what it is, which she did, which is why all of us as viewers are even looking at this very confused. Like, girl, what is this? And it's like you have a gay bestie who's not a gay bestie. And I'm not saying it that way. I'm not trying to put him in a box of him maybe liking men, but I am getting those teas from him. And at the bare minimum, he don't like you. And I think it's kind of messed up that in your head, you feel like there's a chance after this divorce is finalized of y'all being more than what y'all are. And if you don't really believe that, the confusion is you present it as if there was. And even Stevie Wonder could see there is nothing. No. Mm-mm. And mind you, and this is speaking from someone who I have quite a few close guy friends. And I have more chemistry with my close guy friends than you have with this guy. I don't know. And also, too, I know I'm about to go on a little bit of a rant, but let's go on a little mini rant. I do not like how TJ treats Stacey. I don't think most of us do, number one. Friend or not. Friend or more. No, and no. The other thing that gives me huge pause, and I mean huge pause, is him not even liking touch of any sort. I'm a touchy-feely person, but maybe that's just me. I am a touchy-feely person. So if you even want to be my friend, you have to like touch. That's just me. So like just even seeing how he reacts with her, just touching him, that ain't it. And I mean, and I have plenty of like gay guy friends. Like my best friend in the world is he's gay, you know? So I think and I wish someone on this show would say it. The main issue that we all have, at least what I have, is I can't see how you can be cool with someone who just lacks intimacy cues. It's like he does not want to get close to you at all. And when I mean intimacy, I'm not talking about the sexuals of it all. You already know that. And honestly, for me, not to get into my personal life, but like I'm not dating. Okay, I haven't been dating for a while. I recently started putting myself back out there again a little bit, but nothing serious. Like I'm just not into it. Because for me, and I've already shared this, I feel like I've shared this before, I'm getting my fulfillment through my friendships, and all my friendships that I have, at least my close fulfillment, the intimacy, the closeness bug, the intimacy bug that you get through friends, that's enough for me. It's enough to fulfill any void that I would potentially have versus not having a romantic partner. And I don't see TJ doing that for her. And that's where this is where I wish someone could just say that to her. Like, girl, he doesn't seem like he likes you at all. And he seems a little too invested in what's going on with your divorce pertaining to the finances of it all. And that's the true tea right there. But anyway, so Stacey's getting defensive. She doesn't see the ladies asking all these questions as concern, even though it really is. She sees it as ridicule. And it's like, no, girl, it's really not that. And I don't understand where she's seeing it. I don't see, minus Mia. Mia, I think, was the only one that was probably kind of doing it in a way of ridicule. I think the rest, and maybe even Giselle a little bit, but I feel like the rest of the ladies are just more like, girl. Especially Ashley, because I think Ashley actually likes Stacey. But I think you already know how I feel, how I think Ashley likes her. I think Ashley's kind of interested in her, truthfully. Anyway, let's move on. So then after they kind of get on talking to Stacy about all that, Mia kind of clears the air. She's like, no matter how you handle things, Stacy, I feel like you're handling things really well. I feel like everyone that's going through a divorce right now is handling things the best they can. We've picked on Ashley on what's going on with her divorce. So it's not any hard feelings. That's what Mia said. And then somehow they get to Ashley talking about Josh and how she really likes him. And I love how Wendy came in right in time with that read. She's like, girl, you could do better than Jack Harlow. And I about died. Because then Wendy in her confessional will not let go of the fact, like, this is Jack Harlow. And I don't know what Jack Harlow's relevancy is, but, like, other than he's white dude. But that's Jack Harlow. And I was like, what did Jack Harlow do to catch a stray, Wendy? And side note, Wendy, girl, why you had to be killing them with this new confessional look? Wendy, that chocolate skin with that blonde bob. I feel similar to how Ashley feels about Stacy. Well, how I allegedly feel like Ashley feels about Stacy. Just saying. Anyway. So Ashley then goes on to like let the ladies know that she gave Jack Harlow a little bit of a sample of what she got going on and how that's going to tie her over. And I'm like, girl, we kind of did not need to know that. No offense, because I also agree with Wendy, girl, you could do better. You are an attractive woman. You could do better than the Jack Harlow. Like, you have a type, and maybe this is a you thing. Maybe you like guys that tradition. Maybe you don't like guys who are you don't like pretty boys, clearly, but you want them to kind of look a little ugly. Which, that's a thing. I feel like a lot of us women were like that. Some of us like, when it comes to the men of it all, or our partners, we need them to look a little ugly. And I don't know, I'm not one of them. Now, look at my dating history, people might say otherwise, but like, I personally am like, you gotta look all right for me. I gotta have something to work with. Okay, because when we step out together, we gotta be looking like something. But that's just me. But maybe that's what that is. So anyway, fast forward, they finally get there. 2 hours has finally passed, and they get this cute, like, Panamanian, like, welcome. The dancers are there at the resort doing the they're doing the thing. And I don't hold you. This episode makes me want to like consider Panama as the next destination, because you already know I want to do more traveling, and I think I am going to try to get one international travel in this year. Even though I said in my other video that's coming out on New Year's Eve that I probably will only do one trip this year. Next year, y'all already know that's probably not going to be 100% true, but we'll see. I'm just expecting one trip, and if I get another one, that's a bonus. Anyway, so we find out with the rooms, what the arrangements are going to be. Now, we know everyone has their own room, but there's going to be 3 villas. So the first villa, which is like the main villa, the larger one, is going to be Wendy, Kay, and Mia. And Wendy gave Mia that larger villa because of how Mia gave her the nicest room at the last trip. So she's just like, I see you, we're going to do that. And I don't have any opinion about that. Wendy, I still have questions about how you be forgiving Mia the way you do, but it's good for the show that you do. So we'll put a pin in that. And then the other, and also side note, Wendy's the one who picked out this room arrangement. So then Wendy picked Ashley, Karen, and Jacqueline to all be in the next villa. Now, Wendy, you knew you were on for this. But I kind of liked it. I liked it. And Wendy, her confessional, because Karen is giving that reaction, her priceless Karen reaction that only she can give, and Wendy is like, I chose chaos. She's like, I chose chaos. And I was like, Wendy, you're such a Gemini. That is the most Gemini thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, girl, a Gemini ass mess, girl. And then, last but not least, Stacy and Giselle are in a room together. And Giselle had this look of like, girl, what? And we know why Giselle's giving that look, because she thinks Stacy's weird. That's what it is. And you know what? Stacy is weird. But like, we love it. And also too, I ain't gonna hold you, Wendy. You did that on purpose. And she definitely said in the confessional, yeah, I definitely did that on purpose. She's like, I feel like Stacy's gonna get on Giselle's nerves. And that was a purpose. And Giselle had no choice but to laugh it off. She's like, I'm getting you next time, girl. Because it was like fun. Because Giselle and Stacy don't have any real problems, so it's funny. It's actually not bad. It was cute. I ain't gonna hold you. I wasn't mad at it. And so the other thing that I think Wendy got this idea because of how the trip ended, her birthday trip ended, where she was hungover as all get out, and then Stacy was just unusually chipper. And because Wendy knows how Giselle is, she's like, oh, that would get on her nerves. She's like, I know it got on my nerves when I was hungover. So I knew she must have put that in her memory banks, like, if there's an opportunity for me to make them room together, I'm gonna do it. And I love it. So anyway, all the ladies get settled in and they get ready to go to dinner. And for the most part, most of the girls look good what they were wearing, except for Ashley. Girl, what are you wearing? What in the stripper couture is this? And then Mia, what in the Fashion Nova is this? I like the cutout, but I don't know. I didn't love it. It looks cheap. But all of Mia's fashions be looking cheap. And child, okay, one more read just for the fun of it. Mia, these bodycon suits, can we stop it? Like, when these bodysuits first came out, because, I mean, the shapely girlies, we wear them. Well, I've never worn one, but I've always wanted to. But it's people like Mia, or people who always be... The fact that I see them so often, especially on Mia, because Mia has like all the sets and all the different colors and stuff, it makes me never want to like try any of these type of things. Because she wears them for literally everything. She wore at the airport. Like she wear everything. She has one of these things on. Anyway, and also too, side note, the pants that she was wearing when she was getting ready with her daughter. I have those pants. Temu. That's all I'm going to say. Those are Temu pants. And that's my thing when it comes to Mia. Mia's fashions ain't it, and neither is Ashley just loves excuse to like show skin. We know that. But everyone else though was looking cute. I will say that. But I will say, and I'm also going to give Giselle her flowers. I like that dress on you that you were wearing. That is a cute dress, Giselle. I don't know what you did this season to get the fashions together, but your fashions have improved quite a bit. You still are a hot mess when it comes to fashions, but it's better. Anyway, let's move on. So now they're walking to the dinner on the beach, and we see that they have more of the Panamanian dancers doing more traditional dancing, and then they have like someone with a devil mask dancing, and the ladies kind of freak out a little bit, like, oh, okay. And so then Wendy then asked the manager of the restaurant, like, what was the semblance of that? And really, it was just like, it's just part of our culture. It's just what we do. And it just symbolizes the devil's trying to entice you and you're dancing with them. And so that's when Karen gets her dramatic skills on, and she's like, yeah, I feel like I'm just, the the devil gravitated towards me out of everyone. They're like, why is that? She's like, because there's just a darkness here. And everyone was like, what's the darkness? And she's like, Jacqueline. And it's like, oh, child. And then Giselle, also, side note, it is warm in my apartment because it's like in the 40s and I'm on the 4th floor where I'm at. And so when it's the in-between temperature of like 40s, I would say all the way up. Well, no, 40s to like, I would say 50s and almost 60s. And it being rainy, so I can't open the windows. It's just, I don't know. It's warm in my apartment. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, back to it. So then Giselle tries to call Jacqueline, you're wrong for showing up at her house and doing this, that, and this. And then Ashley, out of all people, calls out the hypocrisy. And then she's like, girl, have you forgot we, like, did that to Karen years ago? And they show an old scene of Ashley, Giselle, and Robin pretending to be pizza deliverers showing up at Karen's house because they wanted to verify if Karen actually really lived there seasons ago. And so, which true. It's like, girl, Giselle, I know we're trying to change your image, but like, we didn't forget. Like, hello. Anyway, and then Jacqueline tries to explain herself. She's like, I came in peace. I came as an olive branch. And then she's backpedaling. But like, as she's backpedaling and telling them she came in peace, she's insulting the whole entire group. And it's like, girl. And then, because we know she's full of ish. And we know she did that to like try to pull a stunt. And the stunt just didn't work and didn't land. And also, too, the whole entire time when she's explaining herself, Jacqueline is talking about Karen as if she ain't right there. And it's just really cringe. It's just not there. It just ain't it. To the point when then Karen's like, girl, I'm pressing charges for you trespassing. and also, too, releasing the balloons were illegal. You shouldn't have done that. And then I think it was Jacqueline who called out. She's like, but you released balloons for your mom's celebration of life, which she did. And then all the girls was like, Karen, girl, this is a reach. Which it is a reach. And then Stacey coming in with the facts or coming in with the questions all of us want to know. So Jacqueline, how did you know where Karen lived if you weren't invited? And, you know, Stacey's like, Mia, did you give her the address? And Mia's like, no, I didn't, of course, lying. And Karen's like, girl, we know you gave her the address. You're the one who put her up to it. And Giselle's calling it out as well. And the confessional's like, you know, if you really wanted to do this and confront, you know, Karen on her behavior, why didn't you just do it yourself? Why you had to use your friend to do that for you? And I think that is the problem that a lot of us have. It's like, Mia, if you're going to do what you want to, what we see that you're doing, stand on business and do it yourself. Don't have your like sidekick do that for you. But you know what? I hate to say this, Giselle, right message, wrong messenger. Same could be said about you and all the years that you had Robin do stuff for you. Just saying. Anyway. Or Ashley. I think when it comes to Giselle, the problem is that I have with Giselle being the one to confront Mia about this is Mia is literally doing the same behavior you have done throughout the seasons on this show. The difference is it's not very fun when someone else gets the gun, huh? And the difference is Mia has never really been likable. Giselle, despite her being toxic and kind of messed up, there is a likability to Giselle. There just is. So I think that's the huge difference. But let's call a thing a thing. Y'all both are doing the same thing when it comes to like trying to expose other castmates. It's just the way Giselle did it was a little bit cleaner. It wasn't as messy. It still was messy, but like I don't know. There just was a difference there. If that makes any sense. The other thing is, at least when Giselle was doing it, the people that she was using to do it for her, or at least cast, they also had a champagne flute. You didn't have a friend of doing this who isn't good at doing this and not likable at all. Because it's like, Mia, your friend is actually less likable than you, so it doesn't really help. Anyway. So then Giselle calls out Mia about the children, her comment about the children. And this is what we didn't know, and let's get into this. So this is where I was like, damn it, I wish Candace was at this dinner. Because the way the line moved here, girl. Because what we didn't see, which hopefully gets addressed at the reunion, this is one of the few things that came on the news that wasn't on the show, but I'm going to give it to y'all. Mia said way worse things about Giselle's children in both cases than what we saw on the show. She basically called Giselle's children, whores. That's what she said. And we found out that after the show wrapped up, both Mia and Giselle asked for that to be removed off the show. So it was cut. But she said it more than once. She doubled down on it. And so, and this is why I kind of wish, and this is what bothers me, because if Candace would have been there, I don't think they would have been able to cut it, because Candace would have gotten in Giselle's behind on this. And I mean, Wendy did a little bit, but not as much. And let's get into why. So, because as Giselle's calling out what Mia said about Giselle's children, Mia's doubling down. She's like, I'm standing on business, said what I said. And Ashley's just surprised, because she's like, girl, wrong road. Why are you doing that? Why would you say that? And also too, like, yeah, because Giselle was like trying to make it clear, like, we don't talk about people's children on this show. Which, honestly, that's one of the few things that Giselle has never talked about other people's children on the show. That's true. Other than like how, now, calling out Mia exploiting her children versus actually talking about her children, that's not the same thing. I want y'all to know the difference. It's not the same. But anyway, and so as all this is happening, Wendy is calling out. She's like, now, Giselle, I distinctly remember doing the same dinner when back when we were in the DR, you went all the way in on me when you thought I gave a weird look when you were talking about your children. I wasn't even talking about your children. I just gave a look. And you chewed me out. But yet, where's that energy when it comes to Mia? Because although Giselle is getting Mia together, she's still being respectful, still being nice. It's not as hard to the vitriol as the offense. And Giselle tries to like say, well, it's because Mia and I were actually friends. And when that happened with you and I, we weren't really in a good place. And it's like, girl. And this is where I was like, I needed Candace to say, the line keeps on moving. And even, Wendy's in her confessional like, really? 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 Because the fact of the matter is, Mia is legitimately disrespecting Giselle's kids and is not getting the vitriol she deserves for that. And that's interesting to me. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. And also extra interesting that both Giselle and Mia asked for that to be removed from the cutting floor. And I hope that gets addressed during the reunion. Because y'all try to make Wendy look crazy last season when she wasn't even paying attention to what you're even talking about. Really. That was at this moment. I just wish Candace would have been there, because the way Candace would have read Giselle to hell for the way she has a lack of reaction when it comes to Mia and her BS, but had all the smoke for Wendy. Anyway, so somehow, some way, Mia ends up breaking down. And because the conflict, at least from Mia's perspective, is like, at the end of the day, my Instagram could be a highlight reel if I wanted to be. I'm not the one who's paying attention to what y'all got on your social media. You guys are the ones paying attention to what I have going on social media. But the problem is that we all have when it comes to Mia is she be lying. That's all it is. It's really she be lying. And the social media says one thing, you say another thing, and then we see another thing on the show. It's just a whole entire mess. And so Wendy's like, look, Mia, I'm willing to meet you wherever you are. If you just need someone to vent to, I can do that. If you need, to just say things aren't good and you just go away, okay, fine too. And Wendy says in her confessional, I'm just not going to kick her while she's down. I'm not going to do it. I'm not there. I'm not going to do that. That's just not my nature. And we know that. We know Wendy, at the end of the day, does not really like conflict for real. She'll stand up for herself. She'll stand on business, but she wants everyone to get along. That's just how Wendy is. And she's probably one of the most forgiving castmates on this show. Honestly. A little too forgiving for some people's opinions, some people's likings. But for the show, it works. Now, outside the show, I'm like, Wendy, you need to let some of these people go. But at least I understand why she's the way she is. Anyway. So then we have Stacy and Giselle. Stacy goes to bug Giselle. She's like, I forgot my toothpaste. Toothbrush? Can you loan? No, toothpaste. She forgot her toothpaste. And she was like, can you loan me some toothpaste? I forgot it. My bad. And that was kind of it. That was pretty much the end of that evening. Next morning, we have Jacqueline trying to get a picture taken, but just pretending that Karen isn't there to take the picture for her and can't take the picture for her. And it's like, I ain't gonna hold you. I stopped watching this part of it because I'm just like, Jacqueline, I'm so sick of you doing the most, and I'm so sick of you being so freaking cringe. And then afterwards, they all come together to kind of talk about what they're going to be doing for the rest of the day, just scooting up. And even her scooting up a chair to get in there, it was so thirsty. It was just so awkward and just so off-putting. I just wish she was not on this trip. So anyway, we find out what they're doing for the rest of the day for the next episode. And then we move on. Last but not least on this episode, we see that Mia is crying to Jacqueline about how she doesn't know where her kids are at. Because according to Mia, she had a nanny ready to go. And so the kids were supposed to be with the nanny. But Gordon had a problem with it and took the kids away from the nanny. But then dropped them off at someone else's house after the fact. Just causing chaos while she's at home. And I want to believe this, but I don't know if I should believe it or not. And that's the problem. But anyway, that's where the episode ends. It is going to be to be continued, where we go more into the, not really to be continued, but I did see previews for the next episode. It's going to continue where they left off when it comes to this. And so it goes more in detail with this. And frankly, I don't know if y'all are like this, but I'm like this. I'm sick of these things with Mia. I don't care about Mia's storyline anymore. I don't even like Mia anymore. Like, I never really liked Mia to begin with, to be honest. I actually didn't really feel a way when it came to Mia, but like, I guess I'm just over this because it's very exploitative and I don't know what to believe. And I don't, if it's true for what she's saying about what Gordon did, that is something that could happen. If he is on a manic episode, I could see that happening. But I guess because it's not really her story to tell, I feel a way about it. I know she's impacted by it, but still not her story to tell. That's like me telling all the tea when it comes to like all the things my mom did growing up. Because for those who don't know, if you are a first time viewer of my reviews, the main reason why I have such an issue with Mia this season, especially, is the mental illness stuff of it all. Because I have a lot of mental health issue related stuff. That's my family, including my mom. So I lived with this kind of stuff all my life. My grandma, my mom's mom, same thing. Me to a certain extent, same thing. Cousins, it's heavy in my family. So just the way what bothers me about Mia's not taking any accountability, but she expects Karen to take accountability for her stuff, but Mia's not taking any accountability for anything, and is putting all the blame on Gordon and him having his mental health issues for her being a horrible person. There we go. I think I summed up why I don't like her. But anyway, that is pretty much concludes the episode for today. You might be getting another review tomorrow or probably in 2025. Not quite sure what my schedule is going to be looking like, but I am planning on living life and not really, doing as many reviews after. I basically am taking advantage of the break. I'm planning on taking a little bit of advantage of the another week of less housewife shows and go outside. But anyway, that does conclude the video. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.